Well,
Mark?
you come a long way from Florida.
Doing the same old stuff.
I'm glad you found dry land.
Yeah. You guys are rolling, all right? So everybody applause.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Word on Westerns. My name is Rob Word, and today I am thrilled because I'm continuing an interview that began in 1977. It's Ed Asner. I know that you were a big fan of radio drama because your voice could probably do just about anything William Conrad's voice could do.
Well, he's pretty goddamn good. Yeah.
I remember I was listening to a book on tape, and it sounded like there were 6 or 7 actors doing this book on tape, and it was you. Amazing.
Really?
Just a terrific voice. I know you're doing a lot of animation. Is that like radio drama, or do you record alone?
It depends. Mm-hmm. It depends on the director. I don't know. I've done both. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing how they never call me. Mm. I think
never call him. He has like 800 credits.
I think I'm $1 too much. Yeah. Who knows?
Well,
who knows?
You work a lot and you do fabulous work. Let's talk about some of your earlier Westerns. I know Gunsmoke, you had a wonderful episode, and there are many, many great episodes on Gunsmoke. But The Whispering Tree with John Saxon, Jackie Scott, even Morgan Woodward has a bit in there, too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that was the one or not, but there was I mean, I ride, but I don't ride well. My ass is too big. I need to wear it down a little.
Riding does that. Keep riding, yeah.
Well, good. I'll join you. So on this one show, I don't know if it was The Whispering Tree or what. It probably wasn't. I thought it was a Virginian. They'd given me a good plug, and I wrote it well and all that. But for this one shot, they needed my plug, and they put in a steed, and it looked just like him. And I came out from wherever what I was doing and got on my steed, and I couldn't get my right foot into the stirrup. He took off before I could get it in, and he's heading down at 100 miles an hour. Fortunately, the camera was on the right turn, and he knew enough to make the right turn. And as he made the right turn, he made it so that he went under a branch. And knocked my ass into the dirt. So Mark Rydell was directing, and I felt so embarrassed and ashamed. And Mark said, "That's okay, Ed. A lot of guys wouldn't get back on the horse after that," which I did. And we did the scene.
And he really, I think, liked to show off in those early ones, to show people what he could do, because that was loaded with action, and including your stunt, I guess, with the horse.
I don't know if it ever got on film, though. I'd love to buy it back. That was exciting.
Yes, it was. The Gunsmoke episodes hold up so well that for 20 years, and Big Jim Arness couldn't have been a better choice, and John Wayne picked him for the part.
Wayne has good taste, let's put it that way. Jim Arness was a lovely guy, just the loveliest guy in the world. I don't know what he's like between close friends.
I think he was the same. He had a wonderful sense of humor. As you know from being on set with him, he loved to laugh.
He didn't give me many laughs. But
Well, you were playing bad guys back then, too.
Oh, yeah,
you know? He
that's
wanted
right,
you to
that's
stay
right.
in character.
well, the funniest thing in the world was on that particular, was it that one?
Hung high.
Hung high. I dressed that way.
Well, as I get older, I'm hanging low, but, you know, that's the hung high where you have a tussle with Arness. He throws you in jail,
Yeah.
and then later on, you find him and think he's the murderer, and so you take him back.
I think he's the murderer.
Yes.
No wonder I was drunk in the film. I think I was drunk all the way through. But he put me in jail, and that was the most ridiculous thing in the world. Finally, the weekend is over, and he lets me out of jail. I come out, and I'm really bugged that he did that to me. And I turn around, and I take a swing at him. And to me, it's one of the most ridiculous moments in Hollywood history that I would stand there at 5'9" at that time and take a swing at Jim Arness. It's like countering a bear.
Maybe you were still drunk, though, when you were
I'm
getting
sure
it,
I
you know?
was. Or I was.
It was like hitting a sequoia.
I was certainly blotto.
Wow.
He was huge. But what a sweet guy.
Yeah. Speaking of huge, and you know, Duke was tall too, but he's standing next to Arness. He looked squatty. That in your film El Dorado, James Caan wore like 3 or 4 inch lifts, and it gives him that funny walk.
Yeah.
You know,
Which he kept. He likes knocking his knees together.
well, he was trying for that cowboy walk, and it's
Yeah.
so hard to find those.
I don't try for those
You know,
things. Do you ever show Shepherd of the Hills?
I have seen it with Betty Field. I know you did a Route 66 with Betty Field.
Yeah.
See, I remember all these things from our
Prodigious man. It's a true encyclopedia you got there. Yeah.
That was Henry Hathaway, John Wayne, another mentor, Harry Carey, Sr., and Betty Field. Wasn't she in that?
I don't recall. I never saw it. But it gave him his start, right?
No, he got his start really from being a prop guy for John Ford in silent films, but then Raoul Walsh spotted him, changed his name from Marion to John Wayne, and put him in The Big Trail, which, because of the recession, and they had shot it in ultra wide screen in 1930, none of the theaters could spend the money for those projectors and the lens to project it. And so the movie lost a lot of money, and then he was making serials at Mascot Pictures, and then made for 10 years B-Westerns mostly that were good, taught him how to act. He and Yakima Canutt worked together in most of those Lone Star films and devised the fighting style. So if Yak had been with you on that Gunsmoke episode, maybe you could have gotten Jim Arness knocked out.
Where was yes.
It's Jackie.
Jackie, look, here's Jackie Scott down here.
You're late.
It's my son's fault.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and I.
Why don't you get her ass up here?
Yo, Jackie, come on up here. How are you, sweetheart?
When you talk about ashamed,
A what?
ashamed of myself,
Why?
and I've been sitting. I said I can't interrupt those guys. My God, they're big stars.
This broad was, she was never a broad. She was the excitation of every man I knew. They all wanted her so badly and strived for her and fell in love with her. She was truly the belle of the ball in those days.
Boy, I'm glad I
You still got a great smile.
Listen, I gotta tell what I bet you don't remember.
Oh, God.
Now that you're talking about that kind of thing.
What kind of thing?
No, I'm only kidding.
Oh.
I saw the first Mary Tyler Moore show.
Oh, yeah?
And we'd been pals. We'd known one another, our families, a little bit long before that. And when I saw that show, I was laughing so hard I didn't know how I was going to talk. And I somehow got through ahead of the crowd. And I said, I could not stop laughing. You were great. You're going to be a star. And that show is going to run forever. And I was right.
Now, without a doubt, you all think I paid a fortune to have her come here and tell that story, knowing how it would win your hearts. I thought you were going to tell something risque and something
I won't tell those.
Sexy.
I won't tell those.
Oh, okay, I will.
I'm saving those for the book.
When is that coming out?
Soon.
Okay. Well, my book is biblically clean. Nothing.
How did you do that?
Nothing. I crossed out a lot.
Sorry to interrupt this, but let me ask you all a question, because there's a wonderful sequence in the Gunsmoke episode where you're coming on to Jackie to get information from her because her husband, John Saxon, has buried gold. You're tracking John Saxon.
Yep.
She and her children moved the tree or cut down the tree where the gold was buried, and nobody can find it, but you think that she may know where it is. She was really spurning you at the time. She turned her back to you, and it pissed you off. Don't you remember?
I liked her back a lot, but I won.
And I always played nice girl.
Well, once I put him in the pokey, you won't have a husband.
That's thinking ahead.
Jackie, thank you for joining us. This was good. A big hand for Jacqueline Scott. I'll get you first.
I love you then, I love you now.
Love you too, darling.
You're beauty, baby.
I love that lady. She can do no wrong, and Quinn Martin must have loved her too, because Quinn Martin put Jackie Scott in the pilot of most of his shows. She was so strong, and was Don Siegel's good luck charm too in several films too. Just so terrific. I watched an episode the other night of The Fugitive, and I know you probably did A Fugitive too. She played David Jansen's sister in that series.
Oh, really? I did about 4, 5, or 6 of them.
You couldn't catch him in any of those episodes?
I thought his acting was the worst.
Really?
Yeah.
He had that twitch going.
Well, I mean, that's it. You never saw a guy who was accused of crime, and he had all those twitches going, and I never saw anyone work to expose himself as badly as he did. He was a lovely guy and lovely to be around, except when he got a little close to being accused.
There would have been no show if he hadn't had all those twitches and been able to get away.
I was doing 5 or 6 guest stars on it. What do you mean there had been no? I would have had the show.
You should have caught him. I watched one the other day where not Jackie wasn't in it, but here's a great question for people. Lieutenant Gerard had a son. Who played his son in The Fugitive? Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is the answer.
Kurt Russell, really?
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Who said Ed Asner? Who said it? There was one where he was, what the hell's his name? Richard
Anderson?
Anderson, yeah. where I was hired to be his guard or something, and I was supposedly an ex-football player, and I had killed somebody along the way, and what's his name, the star?
David Jansen.
Jansen
with the twitch.
With the twitch, yeah. He was twitching his way through the show, and then I begin having flashbacks. I go gaga, and I begin re-envisioning running with the ball and catching the ball, and I was in football uniform and everything, running down the Rams field.
This is like an LSD trip.
Yeah, but I didn't have any LSD. That was exhausting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And, David Jansen said it was exhausting for him, too, to be running all the time in The Fugitive. He had a bad knee. And he said, please catch me. Please let Gerard catch me. So they caught him, and the show was over.
Well, that's too bad.
But before you go...
I like the movie a lot.
Oh, the movie was terrific,
yeah,
too.
Movie
Tommy Lee Jones, too, as Gerard.
Really did a good job.
With John Wayne, let's get back to Duke for just a minute, because I know that...
That was another time, I'll tell you. I'll interrupt to tell you about Duke. I was going along with Jimmy Caan, and we bump into Duke sitting there. And I, being a big liberal, stayed away from talking anything about liberal to John Wayne. But Jimmy Caan said, what happened with you and the Patton movie? Duke began talking about it, and he got so angry because they wouldn't do Patton the way he wanted it to be done, so that eventually they got George C. Scott to do it. Jimmy kept thrusting him these questions, which just provoked him all the more, and he just kept getting in. And he had his hat in his hand, and he began talking about the guys involved in the movie, and he got so angry, he kept whipping his leg with his hat, son of a bitches. I was amazed he had a hat left after that. But Jimmy just kept.
Well, to get on Duke's side, all you had to do was talk about films, because he loved movies. He was a real film buff. He loved making movies more than talking politics. He says all anybody ever wants to do is talk about politics or my cancer. And he says, I just want to talk about movies.
Yeah.
So
he was good.
Ed,
we know that.
It's great to see you again after all this time, and you've had such great success. I appreciate you coming here to talk about John Wayne and your Westerns. It means a lot to us here. Thank you.
If you don't subscribe to A Word on Westerns, you're going to have to recite that mercy is for the weak here and on the streets. Somebody confronts you, he is the enemy, even while you're watching A Word on Westerns. And the enemy deserves no mercy.